Good morning and welcome to Math with Mr. W. Good to see you, folks. And guess what? We start a new grade today. It's first grade. First grade. And folks, the first comments I have today about first grade are the rules of bowling. But before I start, I want to just look back and I'm trying to remember what first grade was like. I remember one big distinctive thing about first grade. I got my own desk. I sat at tables when I was in kindergarten, but in first grade, I had my own desk. A desk that had a top I could lift up, things that I could put inside. And when I came to school each day, I could look inside that desk and all my stuff was there. Take out paper, get my pencils out, and I was ready to go. It was just a big difference. I didn't share things with anybody else, but I was responsible for those items in that desk. That was neat, and I love that. Now, I notice today, if I go and substitute, I notice kids that are at tables in the 7th grade, and everything is in backpacks. Sure, they're responsible, but they're carrying their books around. So it's just a different way of doing things. But I really enjoyed having my own desk. But let's talk about first grade. Remember last year in kindergarten, we talked about the importance of 10 and adding in tens. Well, today I want to talk to you about something that you can do throughout the year in first grade. And it's called the rules of bowling. Now, perhaps you've gone bowling, perhaps you haven't. Or perhaps when you've gone bowling, the only way you've had looked at the score was you saw it up on the computer screen, but you didn't even know why the score was the score. When you didn't get a spare or a strike, which I'll talk about in a minute, you knew what the score was because it went from, let's say, 25 and you got 8 the next time. So now you have 33. That was easy to do. But when you had a spare or a strike, things didn't seem as easy and you thought, yeah, well, what's going on here? But you just enjoyed yourself. You're out there bowling, trying to knock pins down and having fun with your friends. Well, it's even more fun when you know what the scoring is all about. Okay? Now, let me make a couple of things here. Let's pretend this is the first frame. And they always look like this. And this is the second frame. And there's 10 frames in bowling. And this is the third frame. And so we'll start just rudimentary. We'll start with 3 frames. So there are 3 things that can happen. You can get less than 10. Let's say you threw the ball down and you got knocked down 6 out of the 10 pins. That's nice. You got 10 pins. Everything works in 10. And it's a beautiful way of learning how to add quickly because this is going to be the idea of tens. A reminder of what happened in kindergarten and a motion toward what we're going to be doing in the first grade. So let's say you knock down 6. So you got 4 pins left up there. And you get a second try to knock down the other 4. And you do your best, but you only get 3 of them knocked down. So it's easy to see that you get 9. Piece of cake. Your score is 9. Now it's the second frame. And you roll the ball down and you get, this time, you knock down 8 of them. You knock down 8 out of the 10 pins. and the other two pins are right next to each other. You roll the ball down and you knock them over. So you get what's called a spare. And there's a line that's drawn like this, even on the computer. You'll see there's a line drawn like that, and they don't give you any score. It's just left blank. Because this is called a spare. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you're going to get 10 points for this. Plus what you get on the next time you roll the ball. The next time you roll the ball. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens in the third frame. We have to wait. We can't just say, okay, put down 19 here because you have 10. We have to wait. Because we need to know what's going to happen on the next time you roll the ball. So let's say here you got 8 again. Now we know you're going to have 19, so we're going to have 19 plus 8. Okay, so that's actually 18 onto the 9, which gives you 27 here. So now your score in the second frame here is 27. And maybe here you get a spare as well. So that means you have to wait again because we don't know what you've got on the next ball, which I can put right here. Remember here, we just put down the score. Here we have to wait until what happens on the next ball. So we actually add 18 to 9 to get 27. So now let's see what happens on the next throw. Now in the next throw, you throw a really good ball and you knock down all 10 pins. And that's called a strike. A strike. Okay, so this is called a strike. And as I always say, hey, 1 in a row. 1 in a row. Okay, so now you've got 10 here, but you've got an additional 10 here. So I've got 10 plus 10, I have to add 20 to this 27. That gives me 47. So on the spare, I got 10 plus 8, which is the, I can actually say, plus the next ball. But a strike is even better because it's 10 plus the next 2 balls I roll. So now I can't put a score down here until I find out what you did on the next 2 balls that you rolled. So if in the next frame you got a spare again, which is a total of 10, I add that 10 to here and you've got 20 added here, you've got 67 here. So this frame you've added 20, this frame you've added 20, you've added 67. And now we have to wait again. And this goes along, and this is your scoring method. Now, what really is important here is the idea of tens. The idea I'm trying to talk about here is that we're going 10, 27, 37, 47, 57, 67. We're going by tens. And it makes the concept of moving through the numbers much easier. And I know that at the beginning, this is going to be a little bit difficult. And what you want to start out with is just simple adding numbers. And then introduce the spare. And then finally, introduce the strike. Now, I'm going to come back at a later date, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what happens if you have 2 strikes in a row, because this becomes a little bit more complex. The simple thing is, you're always doing things in tens, and that's what makes life easier. And we're still moving along the chart that they have that's on the wall, because they're going from 27 to 37 to 47 to 57, or 26, 36, 46, 56, because they're moving along in tens. And then up and down a little bit based on the spare or the strike. And this makes addition and subtraction so much more powerful and so much easier to understand. So let me come back to this at a later date. We'll add 2 strikes into our program, and we'll see how much that adds to the sums. Now, I hope you enjoyed our little session. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Math with Mr. W.